We are here at the Hearthstone Players' first Invitational tournament, sponsored by Razer, and this is Kobayashi Maru and Christopher casting the finals. We started out with 14 of your favorite streamers, and now we're down to 2. And now, this is the deck that Admirable has not lost with the entire tournament, his Shaman. He loves this deck, and certainly I play a lot of Shaman and know this deck has plenty of removal. But as it stands, he doesn't have any of his AoE removal. He's got a Lightning Bolt, a Lava Burst, a Mana Tide, and a Blood Mage. Whereas we have Freshca with, you know, plenty of small minions, a War Leader, 2 Defenders of Argus, you know, the Young Priestess, which will give minions a health buff, 1 per turn. So with Admirable drawing a Yeti, I feel like, again, he doesn't have the optimal hand to deal with this kind of deck. So he is going to have to get some lucky draws.
I feel like if there's a deck that can deal with Warlock, it's like the Shaman with the Lightning Storms and the Lightning Bolts,
absolutely,
etc. But what I'm really looking at is I'm putting this matchup in perspective, and even if he does beat the Warlock, he's looking at playing Freshca's Hunter next, which is Warlock's worst matchup, because they have no healing.
What do you mean Shaman? You know, though, I have played a lot of Shaman versus Hunter, and, you know, I found that as long as you keep the board with 1 minion on each side at max, and certainly no more than 2 minions on your side, he cannot use that Unleash the Hounds combo. The one exception is that this Hunter deck that Freshca has a Leroy in it, so he can play Leroy getting minions on his opponent's side and then play the Unleash the Hounds. But I do think that the Shaman is a favorable matchup. I've found very strong win rates versus a Hunter as Shaman. But getting back to this game,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see is going on in this game?
Well, right now it looks like he just hasn't drawn. Oh, he just got Feral Spirit. That's gonna be really good defending against the Warlock.
Absolutely. It will slow him down, but the problem is that Feral Spirit does overload him. Next turn, Admirable will only have 3 mana to do something with. And that means a Mana Tide Totem, or a regular Totem, and a Rock Biter, or a Lava Burst, because he does not draw Lightning Storm.
Yeah, definitely. I think Mana Tide is the correct play, because he really needs to get Lightning Storm in this matchup, or else he'll probably just straight up lose.
And it looks like he agrees. A Mana Tide comes down and draws a Hex, which is not bad. You know, normally you save the Hex for these big minions, late game Yaceras, but against a War Leader, you absolutely want to Hex it. And a War Leader will probably come down soon. Cold Light Seer, as well as a Knife Juggler, clears Admirable's board, and Admirable draws a Lightning Bolt, not a Storm. But he can play a few things. He's got Argent Commander, Chillwind Yeti, Rockbiter, a couple Lava Bursts, and a Hex. He has options, but as you said, Shaman has no healing. So at 22 health, he is pretty much going to only be downhill health-wise from here.
Yeah, that's Shaman's biggest weakness, is you just can't heal back up, so whatever damage gets put on him sticks to him.
Yeah, you can put in...
It's really...
Go ahead.
It's really tough to say how he's going to get out of the situation without having a Lightning Storm in his hand.
Yeah.
Because, like, he has Argent Commander, Rockbiter, and Lightning Bolt, but not enough mana to play them all in the same turn.
Sure, absolutely. And, you know, the Shaman can bring the Earthen Ring Farseers into his deck, but that's only 6 health, and ultimately, the Shaman, before it was nerfed, had a healing totem that healed all the minions plus the hero for 1 health, and that health was critical in that game, and it's been removed a long time ago from this game. And so now the Shaman has effectively no class-based healing, which is a big weakness.
They've been seeing some resurgence, though, ever since Mage got kind of nerfed, because Mages were like doing really well against Shamans for a while. But now that Mage is kind of out of the metagame, we've seen more of these like Hex-focused, like Wind Fury Leroy combo decks coming out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or Alakir the Windlord combos, but those are all very strong. And I know this is an Alakir Shaman, not a Leroy Shaman that we're looking at here. So as we see the game as it progresses, the Shaman's at 11 health. There are 4 minions on the board for Freshca, and it looks like this is about to end. I mean, unless he pulls a rabbit out of a hat here, this is going to be over. He doesn't get the totem he needs. He needed the Stoneclaw totem. He Lava Bursts the 4/4. You know, he Earth Shocks the Murloc. You know, he is clearing the board, but he's only at 11 health, so he is just really close to death here.
Yeah, I think not getting Lightning Storm was really key here.
Yeah, and I know he's running 2 in the deck. We've talked about it.
If he had the Lightning Storm, he could have conceivably recovered from that because the Warlock isn't sitting on very many cards.
Yeah, and you know, he had 2 Overload from last turn, so playing the Drake, if he draws Lightning Storm, will not get to play it, which he doesn't. He still draws a Hex. And he again gets the wrong totem. So not only is he not getting the RNG from his deck, he's not getting the RNG from the totems. And it looks like that's probably going to be game. It's 2, 4, 6. That's 7 damage. All he has to do is some additional bit of damage. And he does have another Murloc. So there it is. He gets the charge Murk-Eye and finishes the game.
It's a good deck. That Warlock deck, it seems really strong.
And you can be sure after this tournament, people are going to be watching it, and we're going to see a lot of this thing on the ladder, aren't we?
Probably. There's going to be Reddit threads and posts everywhere about how Warlock's OP and whatnot.
Well, that being said, let's just do a little bit of wrap-up here. So you guys have been watching the Hearthstone Players' first Invitational, sponsored by Razer, and that was a very quick finals between Freshca and that's Admirable. Starting out with 14 of your favorite streamers, down to those last 2. Thank you to Razer, thank you to Hearthstone Players, thank you to Christopher, and all the participants. Anything you want to say as we wrap this baby up?
Well, everyone played really well in this tournament. There's some big names, and congrats to Freshca. Hope he enjoys his Razer prizes.
Absolutely. And you know, I think it's interesting to note that a lot of the decks we saw were control-oriented decks. There was a fair share of aggro, but certainly the most aggro I saw was Freshca, and he did take the game. So maybe the resurgence of control isn't going to be as strong a resurgence as we think. People are going to go back to the aggro for tournament style. What do you think?
I think what makes his deck work really well is the War Leader, and I forget its name, but the Murloc that gives everything plus 2 HP. Yeah. They kind of stand in for the Blood Imp that got nerfed. Mm-hmm. So you kind of don't need the Blood Imp if you have those guys. I think that's why this deck works so well.
Was it the Grimscale Oracle? Is that the one?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's...
Yeah. Well,
I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one that gives them health.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, though, that those 2 cards were in all those other Murloc decks I used to see with the old Blood Imp and Flame Imp combos. So it's not that they're new to the deck, but you're right, they do play it a certain way, do kind of stand in for
Well, I think
that.
most Murloc decks before didn't use Argus and like those types of cards.
Oh
like,
yeah,
this is a more standard.
Certainly
this is almost like a board control Warlock, but with Murlocs in it rather than like the normal cards you would see.
Right. No, there is a fair amount of board control, and he does use buffing. I'm going to kind of show the tournament bracket here for everybody who's interested. And absolutely, like, there is that control, there is the buffing, but there are the Murlocs and the ability to use Murloc-specific buffs. So it's an interesting deck, and certainly I look forward to seeing it on the ladder and crushing it and not losing to it.
Another thing is Druids have been taking Starfall out of their decks recently, I've noticed.
Absolutely. It was really well played, I thought, tournament-wise. Everyone played well, and this has been a lot of fun, so thank you everybody for coming out and watching.